Good morning. As County Clerk, I call this May 15th meeting of the Zoning Committee to order. It's 8:30 a.m. And I'm going to start with roll call. Ron Buckholz.
Present.
Kay Wilson.
Here.
Steve Carrianen.
Here.
Jim Evans. John Minto.
Here.
Steve Longtine.
Here.
You have a quorum. Now please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Let the record show that this meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by Section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes. I will now open the floor for nominations for the position of Chair of the Zoning Committee. A person receiving a majority vote of members entitled to a seat shall be declared elected. This vote shall take place by secret ballot. If no majority is reached, balloting shall continue, including all nominees, until a majority is reached. Once the candidates have been nominated, they will be afforded the opportunity to speak for 3 minutes. At this time, I will open the floor for nominations for the position of Chair. Do I hear any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Ron Buckholz.
Okay, I have a nomination by Kay Wilson for Ron Buckholz. Mr. Buckholz, would you like to address the committee?
Yes, I would appreciate you guys voting me as your meeting chair again, and I'll do my best, as I always have been, for the zoning and for Sawyer County.
Thank you. Do I have any other nominations? Hearing none, you may proceed to fill out your ballot. That's at your desk there. Okay, the ballots have been tallied, and we had a unanimous vote for Ron Buckholz. So Ron Buckholz is your new zoning committee chair. Congratulations. I will now open the floor for nominations for the position of vice chair of the zoning committee. Do I have any nominations?
I would like to nominate Kay Wilson for that position.
Okay, we have a nomination by Steve Carrianen for Kay Wilson. Ms. Wilson, would you like to address the committee?
I'd be honored to serve, but it's kind of a scary position to accept.
I will try not to miss any meetings.
Thank you.
Okay, do I hear any other nominations? Right, hearing none, you may proceed to vote. Okay, the ballots have been tallied, and Ms. Wilson was elected vice chair of the zoning committee. Congratulations. I'll now turn the meeting over to your chairman, Ron Buckholz.
All right, thank you, Liz. Before we get started here, has everybody turned in their appearance slips for which they want to speak on an agenda item? If you are an applicant, you do not need to fill one out. Okay, the next thing is I request that all cell phones be silenced along with other electronic devices. And please note that the signs prohibiting members from the public approaching the committee table. If you have information to share with the committee, please fill out the appearance slip, put it in the tray and the information table, and they will be picked up and presented to me or Jay. You may also email the members with additional information. So, statement, then committee hearing procedure and statement of hearing notice. The full statement, committee and hearing procedure document, including directions for the individuals wishing to speak at the public hearing to be conducted at this zoning committee meeting, are available on the information table back in the room next to the agenda for today's meeting. The statement of committee and hearing procedures documented here by incorporated into the record for committee meetings. Any public hearing conducted today, committee meeting shall be published as a Class 2 notice in accordance with Chapter 985 of the Wisconsin statutes in the Sawyer County Record and the Sawyer County Gazette, and published on April 29th and May 6th of 2026. So the next thing is approval of the last board meeting minutes. I need a motion to have it approved, please.
Motion to approve?
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion by Mr. Karianen and a second by Ms. Wilson to approve the previous board meeting, committee meeting minutes. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries to approve. Okay, public comment. We would like you to keep your public comments to 3 minutes, and make sure you state your name and your address for the record, please.
First appearance slip I have is Jenny Chabak.
Good morning and thank you. Ginny Chabak, 12149W Hildreth Road, Town of Round Lake. I'm here to talk to you about something that's not on your agenda. This is a minor subdivision, a CSM that came to the Town of Round Lake. It was approved by the Plan Commission and the Town Board for the simple reason that it's not illegal. But it's really not the right thing to do. I did have some discussion with Jay on this, and I know he gets it and understands, but maybe doesn't have all the tools to hopefully do the right thing in this situation. This is for Birch Point Lodge, which is an LLC that has several properties. It's lovely property, by the way, $1 million house, gorgeous views. It's on the end of a point in Tiger Cat flowage, and they own 4 surrounding lots. And what they want to do is split off a back lot at 0.69 acres with a garage on it, which was never legally supposed to have habitable living space in it. In fact, I have some documents here I'll pass up when I'm done. But what I'd really like to do is appeal to everyone's better judgment on this, because it's not the right thing to do for the owner as well as for the town. First of all, the reason for splitting off this back lot with this garage, this 3-car garage, is to rent it as a separate TRH. This property is a resort. It's advertised as a resort. It should be a resort. It should follow the conditional use process so that the neighbors can chime in. They own, this will be 3 contiguous rentals plus property underneath Tiger Cat flowage, including parts of 2 islands. It definitely should be put through as a resort. Creating this lot requires 2 easements, an easement for the driveway, which goes right through the middle of it, and an easement for the septic system, which is shared between the house and the garage. Again, I just don't think this is the right way to do it. I know you can't really talk about it right now, but if you could maybe during new business, mention it, see what you think, if there's another way to do this. If it's possible to go back and undo the the CSM at this point and put it back through as a resort, I think that's the right thing to do.
Okay, thank you, Jan.
And I've,
Thank you. Next public comment I have is from Linda Zilmer.
Good morning, Linda Zilmer, property owner in Edgewater, 20-plus years attending zoning committee hearings because of my own personal experience. And basically, my intent for attending 20-some years is so that the county is following its ordinances, that the public really all knows what to expect, and that any ordinances coming forward are not too strict, but also look out for public health, safety, and welfare. I want to reference the orientation that the county board went through on April 30th, and you had a change of face with Steve Sorensen from Von Briesen, but some of the messages that he gave were the exact same as what you would have heard from Andy Phillips or somebody from Atolls. And it has to do with you took an oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution and the state constitution. And then he also explained, but that also applies to your county laws, like your ordinances. And I liked his role play between members of the board and his comments, because in the past, this committee has had members who kind of put their personal feeling, you should be able to do whatever you want, ahead of their public role as a county supervisor to follow the ordinances and then just make sure that whatever ordinance changes you make also considered public health and safety. For those of you who haven't had the training yet, it's available online, and Washburn County will be arranging workshops, so that will be close by. This is the handbook that explains your duties, and also at the county officials workshop, it will also cover things like open meetings and public records and ex parte communications, which are very important to this committee. What you heard at the county board meeting explained that your county administrator really is the one that is responsible for making sure that the policy that you enact, which includes your ordinances, are carried out, and he does that by overseeing your department heads. However, this committee also has rules and bylaws, and in those rules and bylaws, that also explains your role in right now, the way they're worded, in the oversight of what happens with the zoning department. So I've been coming here, and for a number of years, I've raised issues during public comment that I wish that this zoning committee and the administration would address, and they're pretty much ignored. So a couple months ago, I came about a conditional use permit that was approved by the zoning committee, and the applicant went ahead, and it was a conditional use permit only for the applicant. That applicant did not get a sanitary permit, did not get a land use permit, did not pay taxes. They were in back taxes. They went ahead and built, and they are continuing to build. And my request to this committee was to review that, because by selling the property, that conditional use permit was void or voidable, and your ordinance says that you should be acting on that. So I guess a couple things on this agenda today too will illustrate the need for the county to start working more closely with the towns in the zoning decisions, so to allow applicants and the public due process at the town level and the county level. So by the time this hearing is held, everybody's had a chance to weigh in, and you're getting the full facts and testimony. So thank you for letting me extend my public comment.
Thank you. Anyone else, public comment? Anyone online, Mike?
Anyone online wishing to make public comment not specifically related to an agenda item? Seeing no hands raised or people speaking up, we will move on. This. Oh, go
1
ahead.
second, Jay, before you move on. Committee members, if you want to speak, turn your light on, you'll be recognized.
Yes, moving on. This is a public hearing in the town of Hunter, rezone number 26-002. Owner Thomas and Jean Carr This is tax ID 13857. It is 3.5 total acres zoned residential recreational 1. Purpose of the request, this is a rezone RR1 to commercial 1 to be able to have storage units. This request was tabled from the January zoning committee meeting. As part of my staff report, again, the applicant is requesting 3.5 acres from RR1 to C1. In conversations with the applicant, they are wanting to install additional commercial storage buildings on the north side of the property. Also in conversations with the applicant, they were also potentially interested in operating a small engine repair shop out of an existing garage located on the property. This property has an existing dwelling and an existing garage pole shed located on it. The applicant is aware that if the future storage buildings for a repair shop is not in operation, additional permits applied for storage building construction within 1 year of the date of the rezoning, that area around the existing dwelling and the garage would need to be rezoned back to a residential use. This is because per the Sawyer County zoning ordinances, living quarters within a C1 district are only allowed on the premises as an established business operation on the property, and that the occupancy is restricted to the property owner, business operator, or their immediate family. This property is located on the northeast corner of Highway B and Highway S intersection. Let me bring up some maps here as well. So northeast corner of Highway B, Highway S, out by the Chippewa Flowage. This would be out by the, is that West Fork? Is that, or East Fork? East Fork. East Fork. The East Fork. The Town of Hunter Comprehensive Plan, future land use maps show this area as rural residential, which is RR. RR is defined as an area where higher density residential development is projected to occur. To accommodate this level of development, 1.5 acre lot minimums are required along public roadways. Lands generally suitable for RR are those lands abutting public roads. With any subject rezone request, no conditions can be bound on the property by the Sawyer County Zoning Committee or County Board. It would be anticipated that any future commercial use on this property would be over 500 feet away from the next closest existing residential structure that would be located south of the County Highway B. The recommendation of the Town of Hunter should be highly considered for any potential motions of approval or denial. As per action by the Town Board, motion was approved. This was done as part, where is it? Oh, right here. Motion was approved by the Town of Hunter. This was as part of their March Town Board meeting, and the vote was 3-0 in favor, no additional comments. The applicant at that point had then wanted to hold off on the rezone coming to finalization with the zoning committee for other timeframe considerations. So we are here now today looking at the previously tabled rezone request. There were 7 additional notification letters sent out to adjacent property owners within 300 feet. 1 was returned with objections. Please accept this response as an objection to the proposed rezone. Details of the commercial storage as it relates to the individual property was not provided in sufficient detail. Respectfully, Carol Cole. That is all.
Okay. All right, thank you, Jay. So I need a motion to go into public hearing on rezone number 26-002, please.
So moved.
We have a motion by Ms. Wilson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Carrieinen to go into public hearing on rezone number 26-002. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We're now in public hearing. You're the applicants.
Well, not really.
No?
No, if you remember Gene and Tom, they're not here today. We're stepping in for them. They're at their grandson's college graduation up at International Falls, which
Okay.
takes place today. So unfortunately, they weren't able to come. I'm Sylvia, this is John Sobiak, and they asked us to represent them and read them a letter, if I could do so.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, anyhow. A little nervous. But anyhow, so I'm just going to read what they wrote. As stated, the request is to rezone all 3.5 acres from RR1 to commercial C1. Our intent is to put storage units on the property north of the house. We've drawn up a possible layout of storage units, but our thought is to hire an architect to do a professional layout to properly utilize the available space and to ensure compliance with the Towner, Hunter, and Sawyer County setbacks requirements. In addition, we believe the house and the pole shed would be ideal for a small engine repair shop or a similar type business. We feel it is good for the community around the east side of the Chippewa flowage. In talking with the folks in the area and the folks from Sawyer County, there is very little commercial property in the area being so close to the flowage. Many residents on the lake do not have enough property to build a pole barn for a boat, jet skis, or snowmobile storage. In addition, zoning to commercial would provide great opportunity for a family to build a business in Hayward, plus add value to the local residents and the tax base. Commercial property already exists adjacent to our lot on the east side and across B as well. So we feel rezoning commercial would fit in very well with the other lots and businesses in the area. In addition, being situated on Highway B, which is quite busy, in the corner of Highway S, it seems perfect for a commercial business. We have presented our thoughts to the Town of Hunter Board, and they have unanimously approved our request to rezone the property to C1. And it's also our understanding this would not be considered spot zoning. Thank you for your time and consideration, Jean and Tom Carr.
Okay, all right, committee, do you have any questions for the people that are representing the applicant? Go ahead, Mr. Karen.
It appears the town of Hunter requested that the applicant provide additional details for the storage buildings when available. And if I heard you right, the details probably won't be available until consulting with the architect?
Right, they did a preliminary sketch that was submitted earlier, from my recollection. Is that correct, Jay?
If there was something, I don't know if I have it, I don't know if I've seen it. They may have just provided it to the town.
Okay. There was I believe they had like a sketch with the starting point and running parallel. But upon further review, it's really best to hire a professional to, make it look nice for the community, and utilize it properly.
But apparently the town hadn't seen it when they put that recommendation in?
I can't answer that.
I guess that's the only concern I might have around this.
Sure, the town has seen it. I mean, they did put in a sketch of the property that they were going to have the storage units on. They did unanimously, approve it.
So I was able to find that sketch. It's being passed around to the committee members. It's a very preliminary draft sketch. And ultimately, I mean, I've had several conversations with the Carrs as to what they would be expected for appropriate setbacks in that location. I do believe they're gonna have some additional research to do, such as topography, driveways. Then they also thought about, would it be more advantageous to then further split this and have, one building on one lot for commercial building and then potentially be able to sell that. So they are in a preliminary stages, but I do feel confident that if this is approved, they would still be meeting all compliant setback requirements. But they would have to meet all compliant setback requirements.
All right. Does that answer your question, Mr. Kiernan?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Okay. All right, anyone else have any questions for the applicants representing the applicants? All right, thank you. Does anyone out there want to speak in favor of this rezone?
You guys are good.
You guys are good, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Linda Zilmer, Edgewater property owner, not speaking in favor or opposition, but a request for the zoning committee to take up this issue going forward. I think it's worth more discussion as to how the zoning ordinance is being interpreted, as to whether if there's a residence on a lot and a business, that the owner has to live in that residence. I don't know that that's the right interpretation, but it did complicate this issue here, and it could complicate things down the road. The other concern I have is that this committee has advanced to the county board for the county board's action next week, and this is maybe more for the members who have not been on the county board for very long. One of the amendments that the county board will either approve or disapprove will be about allowing apartments in commercial zone districts. There was an ad hoc committee that met for many months, over months in May. It was representatives of town boards, and they were looking at inconsistencies and conflicts in the zoning ordinance. And they debated this issue, and they felt that multifamily dwellings, which is the statutory language used to define apartments, are just an example, that they did not belong in commercial zone districts, that apartments, multifamily dwellings, belonged in any one of the 3 residential zone districts that the county already has. And my concern is, and it came up in the town of Hayward, and I saw it play out, are these duplexes that are out near the casino, and they came in as storage units, and the ordinance says storage units are only for storage, but they have bathrooms, and the company that advertises them, you can use them as a man cave, you can, all kinds of things that imply that you are using them for something other than storage. So because as the zoning administrator pointed out, you can't place conditions on this. Possibly some of what the town would have been wanting to know is whether these units would be just used for storage, or could they possibly be turning into something else that we've already seen happen in the county. Thank you.
All right, anyone else out there want to speak in favor of this rezone? Anyone out there want to speak in opposition of the rezone? None? All right. If not, I need a motion to come out of public hearing on rezone number 26-002, please.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Evans.
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Wilson to come out of public hearing on rezone number 26-002. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We are now out of public hearing.
This is the discussion action in the town of Hunter, rezone number 26-002. Owner Thomas and Jean Carr. Legal description is previously read into record. This request is to rezone 3.5 acres of residential recreational 1 to commercial 1.
Okay, committee, I turn it over to you to decide what you want to do with this.
Jay, where is the nearest C1?
Immediately adjacent to the east. It is up on the map on the screen right now. I believe, I don't know if it's, I forget who owns that, whether it's part of like the Johnson Resort, or at least there's a Johnson Resort sign that's right there, but there is a storage building immediately to the east of this subject rezone property that is zoned commercial. That commercial does then extend across Highway B to that small triangle lot. I believe that the county actually owns that small triangle lot, and they use it to stage road equipment there once in a while. So there is existing adjacent commercial zoned property.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I'll make a motion to approve the rezone to C1. The findings of fact is promote public health, safety, and convenience and general welfare, encourage planned and orderly land use development, protect property values and property tax base, and recognize the needs of agriculture, forestry, industry, and business in future growth. That's 1, 2, 3, and 6.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Good.
Second, Mr. Minto? All right. We have a motion by Ms. Wilson, a second by Mr. Minto to approve the rezone number 26-002. Any more discussion? I want to add one thing on this discussion. We have people coming up and saying that the towns don't weigh in or don't have the information, but I guess I'm confused here. Why do they approve something that they don't have the information? So, I mean, when the town board approves it, to me, that's telling me that they had all the information they needed to approve it. So I'm just putting that out there. That's because we hear a lot of that here, sitting here, so. All right, any more discussion? Not, roll call, Kathy?
Ron Buckholz,
Yes.
Jim Evans, Kay Wilson, John Minto, Steve Carriennen,
Yes.
all in favor. Thank you.
Moving on, this is a public hearing in the town of Bass Lake, rezone 26-009, owner Hazel Magnuson, agents Benjamin and Jacqueline Tweed. This is part of the northeast quarter, tax ID 3294. It is 10.45 total acres zoned agricultural 1. Purpose of the rezone request is to rezone 0.44 acres from agricultural 1 to residential recreational 1 for the Tweeds to then purchase that property and add to their existing property. Per my staff report, I'll show you the additional maps here in a second, but in this situation, the Magnusons own property zoned agricultural 1. The Tweeds are their adjacent property owner, and their property is zoned residential recreational 1. They're wanting to do, the Tweeds are wanting to acquire 0.44 acres. In order for this exchange to occur, that 0.44 acres of land would first need to be rezoned from residential or to residential recreational 1 in order to conform to the zone district requirements. With this potential rezone of 0.44 acres, the Tweeds would then combine that land into their existing lot area. In conversations with the Tweeds, this area is relatively flat spot, and they are anticipating building a detached accessory structure in this location. It is unknown why the original property for the Magnusons was zoned agricultural 1, as there is no current use of agricultural, there's no agricultural use in this area. Aerial imagery suggests that it may be a very, very distant past, there may have been agriculture occurring in this area, but the surrounding land use is forestry and light residential. The Town of Bass Lake Comprehensive Plan shows this area as future agricultural. However, even with the slight reduction of the A1 zone district with the potential rezone, the resulting land area would still be over 10 acres. The town's recommendation should be highly considered as part of the approval or denial process. By action of the town board, motion was approved. Justin Hall, chairman, Marshall Savitsky, supervisor, Don Adams, supervisor, Jim Evans, supervisor. Comments as part of the findings of facts. It would be in compliance in the spirit of the zoning ordinance because it would promote public health, safety, and convenience and general welfare. It would encourage planned and orderly land use development. It would protect property values and the property tax base. It would permit the careful planning and efficient maintenance of highway systems. There were 10 additional notification letters sent out to adjacent property owners. 0 additional comments were received. That is all.
Okay, thank you, Jay. All right, I need a motion to go into public hearing on rezone number 26-009, please.
I'll make the motion to go into public hearing.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Evans. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second.
And a second by Mr. Cannon to go into public hearing on rezone number 26-009. All in favor to go into public hearing, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We are now in public hearing. Sir, state your name and address for the
Good
record.
morning. Yep. Ben Tweed, 8801 North Oshu Road. I'm here on behalf of Hazel. We are looking to purchase that little triangle corner slice of property to build a detached garage. We've been at our property for 6 years now, and we've had multiple contractors, and we've had a couple excavation companies out, and there's just no good erosion plan to build on our current 5.5 acre lot. It just, that driveway butts right up to Hazel's property, and then there's a steep fall off on the other side. So just in order to get a detached garage done the right way, we've been working with Hazel now for the last few months on just purchasing that corner.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? No? Thank you. Anyone out there want to speak in favor of this rezone? Anyone want to speak in opposition of the rezone? Not? Need a motion to come out of public hearing on rezone number 26-009, please.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Karianen. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Evans to come out of public hearing on rezone number 26-009. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We are now out of public hearing.
This is the discussion action, Town of Bass Lake, rezone 26009, owner Hazel Magnuson, agents Ben and Jacqueline Tweed. Legal description is previously read into record. Purpose of the request is to rezone .44 acres from agricultural 1 to residential recreational 1. Yeah, this is a pretty easy and benign one in my viewpoint of it. Our ordinances, would still require though, when we're swapping that land between an adjacent property owner, we can't just allow that agricultural 1 to sit as that .44 acres. The agricultural zone district requirements require a minimum of 5 acres. So it was determined by myself at this point, the only way we could really do that is got to rezone that sliver into what your current zone district is, so.
Okay. All right, committee. What's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Evans. Second by Mr. Minto to approve the rezone number 26-009. Any more discussion? Mr. Evans?
I was gonna add those findings of facts.
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
That's all right. It promotes the public health, safety, convenience, and welfare. It encourages planned and orderly land use development. It protects property values and the property tax base. And it permits the careful planning and efficient maintenance of highway systems.
All right, thank you. Now, is there any more discussion? Okay, if not, roll call, Kathy?
Jim Evans.
Yes.
Kay Wilson. Ron Buckholz.
Yes.
Steve Karianen.
Yes.
John Minto. All in favor. Thank you.
Okay,
Moving on, this is for conditional use permit applications. This is a public hearing in the town of Hayward, conditional use permit number 26-010, owner KDML Resort Properties LLC. This is as tax ID 10879, which is 3.92 total acres, zone residential recreational 2. Permit is desired for a bar, cocktail lounge in an existing building. This is per the Sawyer County Code of Ordinances, Appendix D, Section 17.3, Parent B, Parent 3 for a bar, cocktail lounge in an existing building on the property. This has been tabled from the April 17th, 2026 zoning committee meeting. As part of my staff report, to fill in the new zoning committee members, the request is to convert an existing pole shed building on the property to a cocktail lounge and venue space as a recreational service-oriented use. The area of the cocktail lounge would be approximately half of the existing size of the pole shed and would be 24 feet by 60 feet. It would be centrally located within the existing structure. we did receive additional information from a licensed surveyor that the current distance of the existing pole shed to the side property line is greater than 5 feet, but less than 10 feet. Anywhere from 7.5 feet to the eave and potentially 9 feet to the building. So it is less than 10, greater than 5. It should be determined during discussion by the zoning committee members of whether this building and the proposed use of the building would constitute it as a new primary use or principal use of the property, or whether it should still be defined as an accessory use or an accessory structure on the property. If it is as a principal structure, the building does not meet the required 10-foot minimum setback as per county ordinances. If it is viewed as an accessory structure, it would meet the minimum 5-foot setback requirements from a side property line. There has been additional testimony received by both those in support of this request and those in opposition of the request of their arguments as to why it's either a primary or why it's an accessory. But I believe the crux of this main conversational piece should be determined by zoning committee. In conversations with the applicant, they are currently using this space as a resort use space, but are now wanting to offer that area to other family, friends, guests, and private events. In additional conversations with the applicant, they do have future plans to install plumbing and bathrooms for the cocktail lounge. And I believe they have been in contact with a licensed plumber as to design some type of sewer system for those plumbing fixtures in that location. The applicant, as well as the Sawyer County Zoning and Conservation Department, have also been in conversations with the Sawyer County Health and Human Service Department, as well as other DADCAP agencies for other state licensing requirements. The applicant has already obtained a liquor license from the town of Hayward, but I do believe as of recently, the town of Hayward has gone through a process to rescind or revoke that. I'm not aware of what the current status is on that. In speaking with the town, I believe they have attempted, though, to revoke that liquor license. As part of other information included within the staff report or additional comments that we received, and we received a lot of additional comments on this one. To go through all of the comments that we have received at this point, I would be here for another hour and a half reading this stuff into record. If there's any specific questions by the new members, I can certainly give you the additional comments that we have received. But I believe you'll hear additional testimony today, as well as part of the audio recording from last month's zoning committee meeting. By action of the town board, motion was approved. John Fromel, chair, Don Hanlon, supervisor, Travis Butterfield, supervisor, Stacy Hessel, supervisor, with one denial vote from Carol Williamson. The additional comments and conditions is that approval is based on an existing building being defined as an accessory structure as opposed to a primary structure. If it is found that it is to be considered a primary structure, they will need a variance in order to do that use in that existing building. So again, the town has approved it, but they've really put the decision on, is this a primary use of being a cocktail bar lounge on an existing resort property? If it is a primary use, the town has conditioned that a variance would need to be granted. A variance is a way to supersede the zoning ordinances. It's a relaxation of our written code. That variance is held through a separate board as a separate entity. If again, you determine that it is a primary structure, they still need to obtain a variance to do this use. If it is viewed and determined by zoning committee that it's an accessory structure, it does meet the required setbacks. There were quite a few additional, 16 additional notification letters were sent out. 10 additional comments were received in objection. We do also have several letters from other property owners that are in favor of the request. So,
Do you have, how many was in favor, Jay, or?
I'd have to count those.
Yeah,
Why don't we
that's
open the
okay.
public hearing and I'll get that info for you.
Sorry, Kate, go ahead.
Jay, could you give us the definition that is in code for an accessory building and a primary structure?
Will you give me 30 seconds to find that information, please?
Yeah, I will, and I believe when we start to do this one, we are gonna refer to our council for help on this, to make sure we're going about it the right way.
Jay, I actually have the definition pulled up if you want me to
Thank
go. Okay, accessory structure. Good morning, everybody. I'm Rebecca Roker from Matolis Law. It's great to meet the new members of the zoning committee and wonderful to see our existing members. Accessory structure or use, a detached subordinate structure or use which is clearly incidental to and customarily found in connection with the structure or use to which it is related. It is located on the same lot as the principal structure or use. That is your zoning ordinance definition of an accessory use. Let me just read the definition of principal use for you. Principal use / principal structure, the use of a property or structure and the structure which houses a principal use of a lot. Welcome to the zoning committee, because this is where we get into terminology, which what the heck does that mean? And I'm happy to walk the committee through trying to discern what these mean. Also in relation to your county ordinances, they are preempted by state law, if not explicitly stated so in the state statutes. There are other state statutes and state administrative codes that address principal and accessory uses, which we can walk through if you like. But I think for now, for start of your discussion, it's good to have the zoning ordinance definitions of principal use / structure and accessory use / structure in front of you. Jay, you're reading my mind. When you're looking at this, look at the lot as a whole, because state law does look at where is the property boundary and what is the lot. So yeah, that's great that Jay has it pulled up, so you can see where those lot lines are and help you walk through that discussion process of accessory versus principal. It's not a defining factor whether it's all on one lot, but it is a factor for you to consider. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions of whatever nature. Thank you.
Okay, all right, I need a motion to go into public hearing on CUP number 26-010, please.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mr. Karian and a second by Ms. Wilson to go into public hearing on CUP number 26-010. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carried. We are now in public hearing. State your name and address for the record, please.
We are Chad and Wendy Lauterbach, and we own Oak Shores Resort at 7426 Buckley Drive, Hayward, Wisconsin. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I do want to point out that our liquor license, it was a misunderstanding, and we did receive it back the following day. So some of you may have heard some of this information during last month's meeting, but we wanted to briefly revisit it because we believe it remains important to the discussion. We would also like to note that the town board approved our conditional use permit request, recognizing the proposed gathering space as an accessory structure to the resort's existing primary use. We understand there's been a lot of conversation surrounding our request, and some of you may have already heard opinions about us or our plans. We simply ask that you keep an open mind and base your decision on facts, actual ordinance requirements, and the evidence presented here today, not speculation, emotions, or secondhand information. We are here today to be transparent, respectful, and to answer any questions honestly. As we said in our letter to zoning, we understand that a conditional use permit is not required when the space is used solely by registered guests as part of normal resort operations. However, if we wish to occasionally allow friends or family of guests, neighbors, or community members to visit, or if we rent this space in conjunction with a cabin for small corporate retreats or private gatherings, it would fall under commercial entertainment and therefore require the conditional use permit. What we are proposing is a gathering space for our guests and community members. This would allow us to host things like group get-togethers, celebrations, or events tied to the resort experience in a way that is organized, supervised, and respectful to our neighbors. We would like to give you a little history and address some of the concerns and explain our plans in a little more detail. And these are the packets. You can follow along, the packets that we handed out to you. Oak Shores was originally known as Rest Haven Resort and dates back to the early 1930s. And from what we understand, a full bar operated here from at least 1974 to 1997 and maybe even outside that time frame. And liquor licenses remained active until at least 2012 and maybe longer. We are aware of concerns regarding traffic on the private road to the south of us. As you can see in photo number 1 on page 2, we have a large 3x6 sign at the entrance to our driveway. Photo number 2 shows a parking lot by our cabins. Cabins are on the left, and then our driveway continues over towards the proposed space and where our gathering space will be. Photo number 3 shows our other driveway or exit driveway. Photo number 4 shows a large gravel parking lot, which is directly across the blacktop from the proposed space. So, large parking lot over there. No need for parking on the street. Photo number 5 is a current photo of the front of our proposed area where we plan on replacing the patio door with an ADA-approved door. The area we are proposing is located directly behind the neighbor's garage and has no windows on the backside. It is centered in our accessory building, not to one end or the other, as originally depicted in the information packet received from zoning in see photo 5A. Photo number 6 is a photo of the backside of our proposed space and the backside of the neighbor's garage. Please note there are no windows on the backside of this building, and it's insulated very well, dense pack insulation in there. Photo number 7 is a photo of our property near the lake. In this photo, the lake and docks are behind me. We have cabins very close on each side of this boardwalk. The garage is over 400 feet from here. We also conducted decibel readings at the proposed gathering space. Inside the building, sound levels exceeded 100 decibels. Just outside the door, the reading dropped to 41.3 decibels, and behind the bar area, between our building and the neighboring outbuilding, the reading was 38.2 decibels. At the neighboring property's driveway, no sound from the building could be heard, and the decibel meter registered 29 decibels, which is the lowest reading the device records. We obtained the same 29 decibel reading near our cabins and at the resort entrance driveway, indicating no measurable increase in noise levels in those areas. Now please refer to photos number 8 and 9. We have heard that a neighbor is concerned that they have increased traffic on their private road, which we have found is owned by the La Coudray Reservation, but maintained by those residents just to the south of us with deeded access. Number 1, our guests have no reason to travel down that road. There are no other establishments to the south of us, and I'm not sure how we would monitor who drives down that driveway. I'm guessing it could be other property owners from further south on Buckley Drive that drive through our property to get to neighboring businesses. We do know that sometimes Google or Apple Maps will take our guests past both of our driveways. So if they're not watching signs, our guests could accidentally drive past our place and attempt to turn in on that LCO road. We'd be happy to put up a sign at Buckley and the LCO road if our neighbors so choose. We do own the end of that road near our resort and could close it off to help control traffic, but those neighbors also use it and travel through our parking lot to get to other establishments near us. So at least one of those neighbors has declined that option. Moving on to show you our access to the lake and snowmobile trail in the winter. Photo number 10 shows the gravel drive that leaves our parking lot near our bigger cabins. Number 11 shows it going down beside our neighbor Rich and Lori Bowley on the right and Chief Lake Lodge Bar and Grill on the left. And photo 12 shows the beach and the lake. This is where our guests during snowmobile season get on the snowmobile trail. In the winter, we put up orange snow fence to protect our guests and our neighbors' property. We offered to put signs by the water here for summer that say something like no boat parking, but the closest neighbor doesn't think it's necessary at this time. We want to be clear that our intent is to not operate a traditional bar or late-night establishment. Our business model is centered around providing a quiet, relaxing resort experience. Our request regarding hours of operation is about necessary flexibility, not expanded bar activity. We are requesting to follow Wisconsin State Statute 125.68. While these are the allowable hours under state statute, they're not reflective of how we intend to operate on a daily basis. Our actual hours will be very limited and driven by specific occasional uses. Aligning with state statute simply ensures that we are able to accommodate these low-impact controlled gatherings when they occur without needing to seek repeated approvals or turn away opportunities that support our business, particularly during the off-season. This approach allows us to operate responsibly, remain competitive, and continue enhancing the guest experience while maintaining the quiet and respectful atmosphere that Oak Shores is known for. We're not intending to have vote-up traffic, as we want to keep the peaceful atmosphere within the resort during the summer months. We do, however, hope to allow vehicle, snowmobile, and/or ATV traffic in the winter and off-seasons. We also want to clarify statements that referenced concerns coming from neighbors. We have personally spoken with most nearby property owners, and those neighbors have expressed support for what we are proposing, and some have submitted letters in support. Our space is not designed to compete with existing bars or restaurants. It's meant for gatherings that complement the resort experience. We'll continue to support our neighboring businesses by directing guests to them for dining service. This is not about drawing business away from others. It is about responsibly using our property, supporting our guests, and allowing our business to grow in a way that fits the character of the area, and do our part to keep these small, family-run resorts from going away, as so many others have. According to John Detloff's book, Whispers of the Past, since 1923, the Chippewa Flowage has had 56 different tourist-related mom-and-pop lodging businesses. We are not looking at shutting down and condoing off like so many have. We want to expand and make our resort better. Regarding one neighbor's concern about increased activity, they purchased their cabin house directly next to an operating resort that was not previously operated year-round, and we have chosen to operate year-round to support both our business and the local economy. We strive to be good neighbors and have built positive relationships with so many of the neighbors around us. While change can be uncomfortable, an established business should not be restricted from operating reasonably within its historical scope. Since purchasing our little slice of heaven in April 2022, we have invested significantly into improvements, increased usage and occupancy, and we are currently on track to double the room tax contributions since we purchased this resort 4 years ago, and obviously the state and county sales tax also. This directly benefits the township and our local economy. We also want to note that some of the objections submitted appear to be based more on speculation than on the actual proposal being considered. Many of the concerns describe scenarios that are simply not what we are proposing or intending to operate. This property has historically operated with equal or greater commercial activity in the past, and our intent is to responsibly improve and modernize the resort, not create disruption for the neighborhood. We believe decisions should be based on the actual application, actual facts, and actual impacts, rather than assumptions about worst-case scenarios. Per conversations with Jay at zoning, he does not require or expect an applicant to spend money on water and sewer until after approval of the CUP. You will find that we have reached out to a plumbing company about our septic plans. See the letter attached on the back of this packet. All right, regarding the structure setback. The structure in question was built around the year 2000. This is an existing structure, not a new encroachment being created, and no expansion toward the property line is being proposed. We respectfully ask the board to consider that this structure is intended to remain accessory to the primary use of the property. The principal or primary use of the property is and will continue to be the cabin rentals and lodging accommodations. The proposed gathering space is designed to support and enhance the experience for resort guests and occasional gatherings. We already hold the liquor license and are permitted to allow guests, friends, and family to gather within this space. The conditional use permit is only being requested so that from time to time, we may allow public access for small special events, private gatherings, or entertainment associated with the resort. In which you guys have heard this definition already today. According to Sawyer County Zoning Ordinance Section 2.0 definitions, the definition of principal structure is defined as the structure that houses the principal use of a lot. It is the main building on the property. In this case, the principal use of our property is clearly the resort lodging operation housed within the cabins. The gathering space is secondary and supportive to that primary use. Because of this, we believe the gathering space is appropriately classified as an accessory structure use associated with the resort operation. The structure has existed in essentially its current location for approximately 25 years without issue. And the improvements we are proposing are focused on maintaining and responsibly enhancing the property while responsibly preserving the character and atmosphere of the resort. We believe our proposal aligns with that intent by supporting responsible recreation, tourism, and the continued operation of a family-owned resort that serves both visitors and the local community. In closing, we want you all to know that we are committed to operating responsibly, supporting the local economy, and being respectful neighbors. Small family-run resorts have to adapt and improve in order to remain sustainable and competitive, and these updates are intended to help preserve the long-term viability of the property. We also believe it is important to keep this request in perspective. Under the current zoning and resort use of the property, there are other options available to us that could allow for an additional structure and more intensive operations without requiring the type of conditional use permit being discussed today. Instead, we are choosing a more limited and thoughtful approach that is designed to complement the existing resort atmosphere and operate in a manner respectful to neighboring properties in the surrounding community. Thank you so much for your time and consideration with our request of this conditional use permit, which would allow us to do this thoughtfully while maintaining the quiet, respectful environment that both our guests and our neighbors value.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Anybody have any questions they want to ask these people? Go ahead, Mr. Minto.
Use your light, please.
Turn your light on, John. It ain't on yet, buddy. There you go.
You've been open all year before? I mean, or just,
Our cabins are open all year.
Yes.
so your neighbors will understand about the ATVs and the snowmobiles and?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That's what I want. Because I live next door and I live on the trail and I hear them all year long, but it doesn't bother me but I was just,
Yeah.
some neighbors.
Yeah,
get
yep, our
irritated.
guests,
3
yeah,
o'clock in the
snowmobile in and
morning,
out of there
gotta
and.
go down the trail.
Yep.
Okay, Ms. Glenn.
Yes, what are your proposed hours for this establishment?
Right now, we want to follow under the Wisconsin state statute of basically opening it, I can't remember, quote the statute number, but whatever, the Wisconsin state statute for the hours. Biggest reason for that is, this is what we're looking at more of a gathering space for our guests is the big thing. And or say a bridal shower or a birthday party, and they want to come out and start setting up for a birthday party, they're going to do a birthday party at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they want to start setting up at 10 o'clock without those legal hours of operations to be able to allow people in there to start setting up for a party, we're setting ourselves up for basically getting in trouble. Hey, there's a bunch of people in there, and they're not.
And it's before noon.
Yeah.
Or whatever, you
Yeah,
know.
we're not going to be a late night establishment. I don't want to be
So
married.
what are
to
your
this thing.
posted hours
Well-
of operation?
Well, Wisconsin state statute follows from 6
It's 6
6
a.m.
to 2
to
a.m. Monday through
Friday, and then.
Sunday, Thursday, and then 2:30 Friday and Saturday.
And and I think you mentioned before your son is going to.
He works with us at the resort. Yeah, he's back
Yep,
here.
yep, right
He's
here.
going to be the bar manager?
No,
Who is?
we are.
We are,
We manage everything.
yeah, we take care
We're
of
very
everything.
hands-on. Yeah, no, it's not gonna.
We have some we hire some cleaners for Saturday mornings for changeover, and otherwise we take care of everything ourselves. Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Evans.
I have only one question. I've already had 3 conversations. I'm on this board or this committee. Today's my first day, but I've already had 3 conversations concerning this property. And my question was, I was told, and maybe you can clear this up, but that the planning commission had voted against it, but then the town board voted in favor.
So, yes, the planning commission denied it, but we had no opportunity to talk. We had no opportunity to discuss accessory. It was brought up because Jesse Susan had done the survey. And when the chairman, Phil, brought it up, I apologize, I can't remember his last name, so it's not, whatever. But anyways, when Phil brought it to the attention, he says, read it all in and said, well, we have a copy here of a professional survey. It doesn't meet the commercial setback, so therefore there's no sense in wasting time with discussion. So I make a motion to deny. It got seconded, shut down, and that was it. We never even had an opportunity to discuss that according to definitions, you know, under principal structure. And if you look at page 6, or if you look at that up, maybe the different one where it shows the whole property, the principal use of this property is the resort. You know, the cabins, that's the whole thing on this. The people, this little 24 by 60 area isn't gonna make the mortgage payment on this place, okay? Or the insurance alone, or any of that. The main principle of this, and the definition doesn't say building, it says lot. And, you know, the definition of it, it says what houses the main thing on the lot, which is the dirt. And the buildings and the pool and the lakefront, that's the principal use of this lot. This is just an accessory use for our guests. And really where I think there's some confusion and concern of what we're going to do as far as the bar aspect. I understand the snowmobile, we're looking at the snowmobile thing, obviously. But if your family member comes up from Chicago and stays at our resort, and you're like, hey, I'll come out and see you, technically, you can't drink at our bar. You're not a guest. That's really it's a gray area that just, I don't want to get in trouble over it. And that's why we're here. I do everything, try to do it by the book, and that's what it's here. We're not trying to, I don't want to be out there all the night. No, I don't. I'm sorry.
We don't want to be working at the bar all the
Yeah,
time
so
ourselves.
it's just us, so, yeah.
Rebecca, you have your hand up? You want to say something?
Do I actually have a question for the applicant? With respect to the hours of operation, and I know you didn't know the exact state statute that you
Yeah.
referenced, but was it 12868?
Yeah,
That was referenced at the last meeting for our allowable
yes,
hours.
I believe so.
Okay. And just for the committee's purposes, I just want to point out that that is the state statutory restriction on when a facility with a liquor license may serve hours, the serving hours of intoxicating liquors. So what you're looking at is broader than just that service of intoxicating liquor. Furthermore, if you, committee, wanted to impose hours of operation that is different than within 12868, you may do so. So again, the hours that are referenced in the statute are helpful, but they are not binding on your decision from a totality perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. So the planning commission denied you. They were saying that, you're saying it was a primary use.
Yeah, we never got a chance to even
We
talk
didn't
to
even
him,
get a
yeah.
chance to speak
Yep.
that day.
Didn't even acknowledge we were there.
So where did they get that information?
From, I'm assuming, and don't shoot me if I'm wrong, Jay, but I'm assuming you forward Jesse Susan's thing to them?
I did.
Okay,
All right, that's what I thought. Okay.
yep.
All right, any more questions for him? All right, thank you. Anyone out there want to speak in favor of this CUP? Anyone out there want to speak in opposition of this CUP? Hey, ma'am, state your name, address, and try to keep it 3 minutes.
My name is Sherry Lively. Our address is 7382 North Buckley Drive. My husband and I own the property right next to Oak Shores. In 2008, we were fortunate to be able to purchase our Up North Paradise. It is a quiet residential area. There are 2 resorts, Pat's Landing and Chief Lake Lodge, within walking distance that provide food, beverage, and nightlife. Those resorts are away from our residential area and are only surrounded by their cabins and each other. On Buckley Drive, it is all residential except for 2 resorts that are part of the residential vibe because they are both cabin-only rentals. One of them is Oak Shores, the other one is Golden what? Golden View. We are not nightlife people and would never have bought a Northwoods home next to a bar. I am not against progress or businesses making money. I understand that's why they are in business. I do have to ask the question, though, if our neighbors desired to own a resort with a bar, then I respectfully ask, why didn't they purchase one of the many resorts that are for sale in the area that already have bars instead of trying to change our quiet area? Zoning Code Section 8.1 states that CUP applications must consider the impact of those uses upon neighboring land and the public need for the particular use at a particular location. Having a bar 8 feet from our lot line would definitely impact us and our immediate neighbors in a negative way. As I mentioned before, there is definitely not a need for a bar in the middle of our residential community. There are 2 fine establishments close by that can handle food, beverage, and social needs of our Buckley Drive community. I would also like to add that there are 2 letters that have been presented in support of Oak Shores, perhaps more, I don't even know now, for residents who reside on Buckley Drive. Those residents don't live near us, so if there's a bar there, it wouldn't even impact them like it would affect us. They would still have their peaceful, quiet neighborhood. My concern isn't so much about the year-round cabins. It's about the fact that they're bringing a bar into our neighborhood. Thank you for listening to my suggestions, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, ma'am. Next. Pam?
Hi, my name is Susan Gerking. I live at 7393N Buckley Drive, just down the road from Oak Shores. I'm opposed to them opening a bar. I know they claim that it's for their cabins, but apparently they also plan to open it to the public. The road we live on is very windy, and in my opinion, as it is, it becomes dangerous when the resorts, Golden View mostly is summer operated. I think they might have something open in the winter now with the new owners, but it gets very busy and people do drive very fast. And if we have a lot more traffic, I believe it would be a danger to our community. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. But I am opposed to it. We've owned our place for 18 years, and as far as the snowmobiles coming out of there, I guess I've lived there full-time for 10 years, and I've never noticed any snowmobiles coming out of the resort onto our road. They must access it from the lake. So I think that the extra traffic, ATVs, cars, whatever, would potentially cause a risk to our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, anyone else want to speak in opposition? Ms. Zilmer?
Linda Zilmer, Edgewater property owner, and I attended the zoning committee hearing when this was first brought up, and I did attend the Town of Hayward Plan Commission meeting to see how it was conducted, and I was unable to attend the town board meeting. One thing I have on my phone and I could share with you is listening to the testimony from the original public hearing here, which some of you weren't able to hear, is when this matter came before the town board before, it was a 2-2 vote on whether to approve or disapprove. And whatever the discussion was, is they made their town clerk vote, which is not one of the things that a town clerk is authorized to vote for. So when it came here, it was not based on an approval. And it's for those of you who know me, I like to look at facts and look at information. So I pulled up the notice that the town of Hayward put in the Sawyer County record, and I don't believe that the notice for the Class B license met the requirements. It did not say when the town would consider it, so I tend to believe the neighbors who said they had no idea that the town was considering a liquor license. the original testimony, I hope for those of you who are new on the committee, you listened to what happened last time because there was a lot more detail presented. This whole issue of whether it's an accessory structure or a principal structure is a side issue. What you're going to do is, if this is actually granted a real liquor license, I would imagine that the Tavern League, and again, this is speculation, but I would imagine the Tavern League would love to take on a case where a county attempted to limit the hours or limited who could go to a bar that had a liquor license. So really, I think what you're looking at is setting this up to be a commercial scale bar, and I would hope that you would consider the facts, and if you can't make a decision today because you need more information, which is what originally I think the town's plan commission requested, I think you also have the ability to take time to consider this more fully. And just to back up the applicants and the people who were there for the plan commission meeting, I was aghast. Yes, nobody was allowed to speak. So I think at the town level that this is one of those things that ultimately it's your judgment, but please carefully do it with the facts and take the time you need.
Okay, thank you. All right, anyone else out there want to speak in opposition?
Go ahead, anyone online wishing to speak, I believe you'll have to unmute yourself there, Mr. Lindsay. Yep.
Hello, yes, this is Attorney Max Lindsay. Thank you for time today. I did speak last month as well, but I won't say the exact same thing. I'll kind of reiterate here that I think it's important for the zoning committee to look at this application, not like it's a change of use from this garage and just a little changes to this bar, but look at it as if they were requesting to build this as a new structure, because that's what a change of use does. It requires you to consider it as it would be for that new use. So ask yourselves, if this were an application to build this new structure, approximately 1,400 square foot bar and restaurant, would you consider that an accessory structure or a principal structure? I think it's clear you'd say principal structure there. Now, to clarify some more things from the town of Hayward's meetings, the town plan commission specifically found and decided on the record that they thought that this was a principal use. So that's why they made the motion to deny. Went to the town board. The town board did not make a specific determination or finding as to whether they thought it was a principal or accessory use. Rather, they said it should be allowed if the county zoning committee finds that it is an accessory use. So that is, I think, an important distinction there. The only actual decision coming from the town as to primary versus accessory was from the plan commission, and they said, in their opinion, this is a primary use. And I think that the testimony here and the statements of the owner show that this would be cannot be considered a accessory use because it isn't merely incidental to their current resort operations. I think that it's clear what they are doing, allowing guests to use this space to have events. That may be an accessory use. It's incidental to the resort operations. But they're proposing to open this up to the full public. Yeah, they might say that that's not their intent, but authorizing this allows them to go full scale, open to the public. They specifically say they're going to invite ATV, snowmobile, and truck usage of their parking area to come and use this bar. Nothing about that being connected to the rental of the cabins. That's just a complete open public use. That's not incidental to lakeside cabin rentals. They're further stating that, the purpose of this too is to allow their business to grow. That shows this isn't about being incidental to what they're currently doing. They stated they understood there were other options that they could do this and construct a bar like this, there are other options, but what we can't do with this is to allow them to build an accessory structure. Granted, it was a prior owner, but build an accessory structure, only meeting those accessory structure setbacks, and then backdoor the way in to getting a bigger, more intensive, open to the public use without complying to those greater setbacks. There's a reason for those setbacks, and it's because a principal use open to the public, such as this, has more of an impact on the neighbors. And also, yes, this use is, or this property is zoned as RR2, but the property immediately adjacent to it, its neighboring property, which this use is on less than 10 feet away from, is zoned residential 1. So it's not that this is in the middle of a district that allows other commercial uses. It is 8 feet away from that residential only use and district. So I think based on all that, the zoning committee needs to make that decision. Is this allowable to change a garage into a bar and not have to meet the zoning requirements that you would have had to meet had you just built a bar in the first place?
All right, thank you, sir. Anyone else out there want to speak in opposition?
Anyone online wishing to speak in opposition, you'll need to unmute yourself.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I actually have another question for the applicant, so I wanted to ask within the context of the public hearing.
Go ahead, Rebecca. They are making their way up to the podium.
Okay, thank you. And I apologize if this is duplicative from the last meeting, but for my own understanding, and I think too, just for purposes of the record, I see that this is one lot. How many cabins are part of the resort?
9.
9, okay. And are those cabins located on the entire lot that's highlighted in blue?
Yes, and if you look at, the best way to describe, if you look at the lot lines that are highlighted in blue, if you look at it like a capital T, they're down there, all right there where your cursor is. They're all down in that, like the leg of the T.
So there's
There's-
5 units in like that one building there. like-
There's 2 units there,
Yep.
one to the north, and then right where your cursor is down there, there's 5 units down, can't see necessarily with all the trees. And then there's another one on the north side of that boardwalk coming up from the lake. Yeah, right there. Yep, so there is 9 units right down there, and then no
Okay.
other, yeah, yep, that's right, that's.
And that
where-
was actually,
Go ahead, sorry.
no, sorry, that was my next question is what is that, the structure, in the T on the lower half, that larger structure? So that is,
And then
you said that's 5 units?
Yeah, down on, if you're looking at the bottom left, right, am I looking at that correctly, right? Yeah, where your cursor is right now?
Yeah, that's the 5-unit one.
Yep, that's the 5-unit one.
Can you see the cursor, Rebecca?
I can, yes,
Yeah,
thank
so
you.
that's the 5-unit
Yep.
complex. There's an additional 1 unit here.
Correct.
This is a in-ground swimming pool. This is a 2-unit rental here and another 1-unit rental here.
Correct.
And based on the aerial, it doesn't look like there's other structures on your property. Is that right? So you've got,
No other structures other than the one that we're
Fish
talking about.
house, the fish
Oh,
house, the
okay.
laundry room.
I'm sorry, yes, on the north side of that property, on that, where the blue, the leg,
out.
that little bump, yeah, right there, Jay, that is, like our laundry and fish house, fish cleaning area, right there.
okay. Would you say there's any area on the property or as part of your resort that kind of acts as like a main house or a
That
centrally
pool.
located?
The whole grounds down by the pool and everything, that's where everybody's at, and it, on the map, it doesn't look like that far, but it's a long walk to that garage. I mean, it's not anywhere, I wish it was centrally located, I do, I wish that thing was right, that proposed area was right smack in the middle of the upper part. I truly do, but it's not. And, yeah, that's, so that everybody gathers down there. They're all right in the lawn down there. That's where they play the lawn game. I mean, it's where they do everything. It's just, I don't know.
So that's like the central,
That
so you
is
don't
it.
have, and I use that term main house, which I think is a loaded term, but
Right.
that's the central gathering area for your guests.
100%. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think I had one more question. No, that's it for now, for the applicant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr.
I have one question for the applicants. And just for clarification, so you have established business hours, right?
Well, for what? Like the cabins?
Well, my question is, are you going to have somebody staffed in there during those hours? Or only on the nights or days that you have a special event?
Only on occasion. When the guests, more or less, we're gonna do, how we'd like to look at doing it is, we're gonna be building a gated area, per se, around the alcohol and closing it all off. So then the remaining part of the room on the rain days, because we have guests that come, literally rent all 9 cabins. The whole, one family rents all 9 cabins. And, hey, you want it, and they do card tournaments and stuff like that. So we're having it so they can use that area.
Not necessarily even have the bar open.
Not even have the bar
But they can
selling
use that
out.
space as a
And we're
gathering
gonna-
area.
And we've looked into those laws and whatever, what you have to do to secure alcohol so they can be in the area without.
How about the snowmobilers?
What about them?
Is there going to be somebody on?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, so they can just come off the lake, anybody can come off the lake and go in and have a drink?
When we're open. When we set hours for what we're going to be open.
So at some point it will be,
We will have set hours at some point.
and then
At
the
this
public can
point-
come and go as they please.
Yes, yes.
So it's not just for wedding events and such.
You know, for snowmobile season, right? No.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Jay, I'm sorry, I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Did the applicant submit any sort of like plan of operation? I know we've talked about hours of operation and so forth, but is there any plan of operation or other more detailed plans relating to the actual operations of the proposed use? Or not at this point?
Yeah, I mean, they provided what I guess I'll call a narrative or synopsis, maybe not to the extent as a plan of op, but we've also heard, their additional testimony today, which I think would support what their intended plan of operation is to be.
Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks again.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, one last time. Anyone else want to speak in opposition? Okay, if not, I need a motion to come out of public hearing on CUP number 26-010, please.
I'll make the motion to come out.
We have a motion by Mr. Evans. We have a second. A second by Ms. Wilson to come out of public hearing on CUP number 26-010. All in favor, say aye to come out of public hearing. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We are now out of public hearing.
This is the discussion action, Town of Hayward, conditional use permit number 26-010, owner KDML Resort Properties. Legal description is previously read into record. The request is per the Sawyer County Code of Ordinances, Appendix D, Section 17.3, Parent B, Parent 3, for a bar cocktail lounge within an existing building on the property. While keeping in mind my staff report that I prepare for every one of these cases, one of the additional items that I do want to kind of bring the committee to realize here is specific information as it relates to conditional use permits. For conditional use permits, you do need to use substantial evidence. Substantial evidence means facts and information other than merely personal preferences or speculation. directly pertaining to the requirements and conditions an applicant must meet in order to obtain a conditional use permit, and that a reasonable person would accept in support of a conclusion. If an applicant agrees to meet all the requirements and conditions as specified into a county ordinance or those imposed by the county board, the county shall grant the conditional use permit. Any conditions imposed must relate to the purposes of the ordinance and are based on substantial evidence. The conditions must be reasonable and to an extent practicable and measurable. The applicant must demonstrate that the application and the requirements and conditions established by the county relating to the conditional use permit are both are to be satisfied, both of which are to be supported by substantial evidence. The county's decision to either approve or deny a permit must be supported by substantial evidence. One of the things we can do with conditional use permits is potentially add unique conditions that would mitigate some of the concerns that you've heard from those in opposition. Now, the list that I prepare for possible conditions are just those. They are possible conditions. You can add and delete from that list. The ones that I've identified as of this point would be to have potential hours of operation as determined by the zoning committee members. You had heard from the applicant that they are wanting to go with the state statute requirements, which would be basically 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. Monday through Friday, and then I believe it's 6 a.m. to 2:30 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. You'd heard from someone that was in opposition that the Tavern League, if you restricted hours, may have issues with that. That they obtain licensing requirements from DAGCAP, that all parking is to remain on the property, all lighting to be at a minimum for safety aspects and downward facing. Additional conditions that the committee could potentially put on here would be fencing requirements. We heard that, yes, this structure is very close to the side lot line. Fencing could be a condition as part of an approval process. That all other town, county, state, and federal laws are followed. That a Sawyer County land use permit is still required for a change of use for this if it is approved. That the size of the cocktail lounge not exceed 24 feet by 60 feet. That all signage must follow the Sawyer County signing ordinance requirements. That the conditional use permit goes with the property. And I think the big one that still determines additional discussion and determination by this committee is whether or not this change of use would be established as a primary use in which the building does not meet the current setback requirements and would require granting of a variance, or if it is to be viewed as an accessory use to the existing resort operation. That's all.
Okay, all right, committee. When the applicants was reading their folder that they give us, I see and viewed it, it's just, I'm just speaking for myself, as a primary. I don't know what you guys viewed it as, but that's what I got out of that when she was reading it to us. It was a primary. Okay.
I agree with that because they received a full liquor license and they stated that they want to grow their business and it will be open to the public. I think it's a primary. If you look at the dictionary definition of incidental, which is part of an accessory structure, it said it is less important than the other thing and it is not a major part of it. This is a major part of their business and is a primary structure, in my opinion.
Again, Mr. Chairman, may I interrupt?
Yes, go ahead. I mean, we want to make sure we're going right here.
I know, and this is a complicated one. From a procedural standpoint, I recommend that you close the public hearing and then open it
We're
up.
in discussion.
We closed it.
You did close it. Thank
Yes.
you. I'm so sorry. Yes, so keep having your robust discussion. When you're ready for I can give you the long legal interpretation or the briefer one, or I can answer any specific questions that you may have. Thank you.
So, anybody else want to discuss something? Mr. Longtime, you can say something, you just can't vote. If you want to add something that we might not be seeing is fine, you just can't be a voting member, but you can speak.
I guess my one question would be, so if they actually made the setback for a primary structure, the rest of this would be okay?
Yes. I believe, right? Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it would still require granting the conditional use permit
Yes,
and using
absolutely.
substantial evidence to either approve or deny it, but I think that's one of the largest crux of the overall request is, I mean, should we permit a bar restaurant at a 8-foot setback to a side lot line, an accessory structure needing a 5-foot setback, a primary structure needing a 10-foot setback?
Okay. All right. So, committee, should we have Rebecca give her the short version?
The short.
Rebecca, you give us the
Okay,
short
I'm going to
version.
give you the short version, but it may be long because we have multiple issues that we need to hit on for making your record. So let's start first with the primary structure, accessory structure, because that is the crux. You heard a legal opinion before that that's kind of a subordinate issue. From my legal perspective, it's not. That is really the heart of the issue here, because that is going to determine your next steps. And it is going to determine whether you even can have the discussion of appropriate conditions. So a couple things that I recommend you keep in mind. Number one, we have our ordinance definitions of primary structure and accessory structure that we read before. There is no specific state statute that is a global definition of primary or accessory. However, when we look to other statutory sections in case law, I'm going to give you a couple buzzwords that I think are somewhat helpful. In our Shoreland Code, in NR 118, in NR 118, primary principal is defined as the main building or other structure on a lot that is utilized for the property's principal uses and structures, and it can include a garage if attached. Then we have, it is the most important, consequential, or influential building on the property. It is, again, primary is any that are not subordinate to the accessory, which is a good lead into what is an accessory. Accessory, again, buzzwords are subordinate, consequential, inconsequential. And one court said that use of the term inconsequential is important because it really leads to the true distinction between a primary structure and an accessory structure. So whether that use is inconsequential to the primary use on the property, I think that's probably the best way to define accessory use or structure. And that's what the court said as well. Then just a few other buzzwords for you. Again, we had subordinate as an accessory. Accessory structure is subordinate to the main building is a principal structure. I thought that was helpful. That is it's not from case law, but it's from Rathcost, which is a well-respected secondary legal source. Again, so what do we have here? Principal is main, primary, the head use, if you will. Others are subordinate to or inconsequential to. Looking at this property, it's it's a resort property. You've got the cabins, you've got what, again, I don't like the term main house, but you don't have kind of that primary structure of gathering. You've got open space, green space, pool area, that it sounds like that's kind of the main gathering area. But I think that's really important for your consideration when you're trying to determine what is the primary use versus what is the accessory use, accessory structure. One other point on primary and accessory uses. There is case law that says an accessory use or structure loses its incidental status if it attains significant magnitude apart from the principal structure. So this is a case law recognition that if you have two buildings on a property and one becomes not incidental to that other building, it can lose its accessory structure status. So in this scenario, the garage may have been incidental at one point in time, but that does not mean that it's incidental now. So even if it was an accessory structure before, it could lose that status and become a principal structure. So that's another question for, to ask. Okay, leave it at that. Trying to do the short version here, folks. The other two heads up that you can consider as part of your substantial evidence, but also be wary as to what their value. The liquor license is important from an operational standpoint, and should you choose to address, more of a plan of operation, hours of operation, but the statute cited for what the hours of operation allow, again, that goes to when you may, or when the applicant may serve intoxicating liquors. And I just wanted to point out too, that is, I gotta make sure I get it right this time, 12568 of the statutes. So, and your primary statute that you're operating under, as Jay accurately read, is 59695E. That's where we get our standard for substantial evidence, which frankly is why I'm talking so much, because substantial evidence is what you guys need to do today. You need to be able to articulate substantial evidence whether you approve or you deny the conditional use permit. From the town standpoint, I know there was some discussion about whether people were allowed to speak at the town and so forth. I just want to remind the committee that town's input, while it's important, it's not binding on you. And I don't want this committee to make determinations of the applicant's due process at the town and whether the applicant was granted due process of the town. That is not within your jurisdiction, if you will, and I don't want you to have that legal exposure to start getting into due process concerns at the town level. We need to worry about your due process. So with that, Jay did a great job of hitting on the requirements for substantial evidence, either in favor of approving or denying. Any conditions you have also need to be supported by substantial evidence. And I'll be frank with the committee. You heard a lot of substantial evidence from both the applicant and from the individuals who are opposed. So it's really a matter of weighing that substantial evidence that you heard. And if you have questions on those pieces of substantial evidence, I'm happy to answer all those. Any questions for me at this point in time?
I don't have any questions, but it would have been a lot kind of easier if the town of Hayward would have, they actually are putting all this on us. They didn't know what to call it. So we'll turn it over to the zoning committee and let them have it. But, I don't, unless these other committee members do, because there's a lot here to look at, people. A lot. lot. Mr. Karianen.
Well, I would certainly agree with much of what council mentioned about this, and I'm struck by a couple of things here. On one point here, the applicants say they're preserving the character and atmosphere of the resort, yet if serving snowmobilers that happen to come up the trail throughout 3 months or whatever we have of snowmobile season until potentially 2 in the morning is preserving the character, I don't think that's the character I've heard historically has been in place in this particular neighborhood. So from that standpoint, I don't see how accessory structure would apply.
All right, anyone else? Go ahead, Kay.
When I think of a resort, I think of the cabins, that's primary. I think of the pool, that's primary. I think of their lawn game area, that's primary. The fish house is primary to the resort, and I think the bar is primary to the resort now, because it's going to be open to the public.
Okay. Anyone else? Now's the time to speak your piece. Mr. Minto?
I mean, I sympathize with people that live around there, but this guy's wanting to make his business, better. And if I bought a place where the resort was, eventually, I'd have to think of the guy's gonna put a bar in there if it wasn't there. That's my thing, he just wanted to make his business a little better, but because I live next door, and it was a house and a guy on the street put a bar in, and I thought eventually, because it was a bar, he's gonna turn it back into a bar, and he did. That's,
Okay. So now comes the decision whether we want to approve or deny. Do you want any more input from council? I mean, she read us the whole statute.
No, I didn't, Mr.
You're
Chairman.
pretty
I
close,
skimmed the surface for you.
So,
And I would think, to keep a clean record, whoever is to potentially make a motion, make a determination in that motion as to the primary or accessory structure aspects of that building. Because we had
And
a
I
lot of
would just-
discussion of it, but I think you'd want to solidify it in a motion, but.
yes, I agree with that part of it, yes.
And I will just add to that, once you make your motion, I will essentially, I'll do a dialogue with the maker of the motion in order to have that discussion of facts to assist in establishing substantial evidence. So essentially, you will have the discussion, you will make the decision, but I will assist you in asking certain questions of the maker of the motion, so all of you can hear that dialogue as we establish substantial evidence for whatever it is you make the motion on the floor for.
Okay. What's the pleasure?
I'd like to make a motion to deny this CUP on the basis of the building is an accessory building. It's a major part of the resort, not incidental. And the findings of fact would be.
You said it's accessory. Did you mean that it would be primary?
I'm sorry, I believe that it is a primary building, not accessory. I'm sorry if I mixed that up. That it does not protect property values and property tax base. and it does not provide healthy surroundings of family life. And Rebecca, what do I need to add to that for substantial?
I would recommend that you get a second for the motion, and then if there's discussion, Supervisor Wilson, I'll ask you a few additional questions.
Anybody want to do a second?
I'll do a second.
You have a second by Mr. Carrieinen. Now for discussion.
Okay. Again, just a couple of clarifying questions, and I'll direct those to Supervisor Wilson. If others want to discuss that, that's wonderful too. Supervisor Wilson, you said that you identify this as a principal structure or use because it is not incidental. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you would say that it's not subordinate to the principal use or structure?
Correct.
Okay. Would you say that there is, you mentioned the diminishment of property values, and we have we have in the record some information submitted from neighbors regarding the diminishment of property values. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And then let's talk about the ordinances a little bit. This is obviously in RR2. In the RR2, what type, that is a, Jane, you can jump in here too. That's a residential district, correct?
It is a residential recreational district.
Okay, thank you. And this is a conditional use permit in that district, correct?
Yes.
Okay, what is the primary permitted uses? I see 1 family, 2 family dwellings, private garages, carports, boathouses, which I would say are accessory uses. Horticulture, horticulture, gardening, and essential services, and utilities intended to serve the principal permitted use. So I think that that is illustrative because case law does direct us to look at what our permitted uses and what our conditional uses in looking at, again, the totality of the circumstances and establishing substantial evidence. That's it for my questions for Supervisor Wilson. Again, I'm happy to answer any other questions that you may have.
Rebecca,
Yes.
with that being a primary or principal use, that doesn't meet the setbacks then, right?
Correct.
That's correct, sir.
So that would be Supervisor Wilson would be able to put that in her minutes or motion too, but I don't want to put any words in her mouth.
I don't think I have to.
Okay.
It's part of the discussion we're having right now, so it is part of the record.
Yeah.
And again, the key is you are being asked to make a determination on the conditional use permit. If this is deemed a principal structure or a principal use, your ordinance couples those, it does not meet the setbacks. That is a threshold issue. That is why this is so important that we have this very in-depth discussion of principal versus accessory uses and structures.
Okay, so are we okay with that motion and a second then for denial?
One other point, I just would like the record to reflect that we've had, the committee has received evidence both at this meeting and also at the zoning committee meeting of April 17th, which is also incorporated into the record.
Okay. All right. Kathy?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to repeat the motion.
Oh, can you repeat the motion?
Okay.
You can repeat it to me because I know I missed some.
You want to repeat it to her?
Very fast, very softly, and
What do you have so far?
Far, yes, thank you. What I have so far is to deny the building as, you said, accessory, but then we changed it to primary principal use building. It's not subordinate to the use, diminishment of property values, RR2 residential recreational district, needs a conditional use in that zone district. Rebecca was advising in between those, and that she said that it does not meet setbacks, and we had evidence from 417 and this meeting to be in the record.
May I make one clarification to that?
Yes.
I think that the specific question or the specific motion is to deny the conditional use permit based on the substantial evidence received, including but not limited to the proposed building is a principal use or structure. And then all of that follows. But again, what you're being asked to do here is whether to approve or deny the conditional use permit, not just whether this is an accessory or principal use. That's a sub-question, very important one. But again, the question you are being asked to render the decision on, and again, I want to make absolutely sure that the motion maker agrees with this, is whether to approve or deny the conditional use permit based on substantial evidence.
Okay. Go ahead, Kate. Something to say? No? All right. We have a motion and a second. We have the finding of facts. We have substantial evidence, and the motion and second was to deny. So we have no more discussion. Kathy, can we have roll call, please?
Yes. I'll get my list here. Kay Wilson.
Yes.
John Minto.
Here.
Jim Evans.
Yes.
Steve Carrianen.
Yes.
Ron Buckholz.
Yes.
All in favor. Thank you.
Okay. All right, we're gonna take a quick break and then we'll get back to the meeting here. We're going on to the next one.
Yes, we are back in for the committee. This is a public hearing in the town of Hayward, conditional use permit number 26012, owner Dennis and Evelyn Meyer, tax ID 10884. It is 1.58 total acres owned residential recreational 1. Permit is desired for a 14-foot by 24-foot accessory building divided by a town road, which is Buckley Drive. This is per the Sawyer County Code of Ordinances, Appendix D, Section 4.26, Parent 3. As part of my staff report, again, this is for a 14 by 24-foot accessory structure. It would be able to fit on the side of the road containing a dwelling, but it would take away from an alternative drain field location and require additional tree removal. If zoning committee determines in their findings of facts that the structure would lessen the impervious surface impact to the lake, you can have an exemption from the first provision that I read, which again is that it could fit on the lakeside containing the dwelling. The shed location would be approximately 425 feet away from the ordinary high water mark of Chief Lake and would lessen the impervious surface impacts. This is a contiguous lot, so it is not two separate lots, so there was be no deed binding covenants that would be required. It is the same lot, so it's not a lot that's within 66 feet, so none of those apply in this situation. It would meet all other proposed ordinance requirements, including additional setbacks. Additional conditions I have listed in my staff report would be no habitable area is allowed within the structure, including beds, bedrooms, or kitchen facilities or plumbing. No commercial use or operation is allowed within the structure. Size of the accessory structure not to exceed the existing 392 square feet. Must follow all other town, county, state, federal laws, including a town driveway permit if applicable. The Sawyer County land use or a Sawyer County land use permit is required for the accessory structure if the conditional use permit is approved, and the conditional use permit goes with the property. Again, this is part of an order for correction process. This was a shed that was viewed without permits, and we are going through and getting compliance by the conditional use permit request and the land use permit request we have in front of you. By action of the town board, motion approved from the town of Hayward unanimously. Conditions Approve the following conditions, not to exceed 392 square feet, no habitation, no commercial use, follow all other town, county, state, federal laws. Cup goes with the property, applicant agrees to all conditions. Findings of facts, placement of the accessory structure would lessen the impervious surface impacts, promote public health, safety, convenience, general welfare, encourage planned orderly land use development. There were some notification that was sent out. 12 additional notification letters sent out. One additional comment was received, and that was from the Lucudere tribe, and they have no issues with the proposal. That was all.
Okay, good, thanks, Jay. All right, I need a motion to go into public hearing on CUP number 26-012, please.
So moved.
I got a motion by Mr. Carryon, second by Mr. Evans, to go into public hearing on CUP number 26-012. All in favor, say aye to go into public hearing. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We are now in public hearing on CUP number 26-012. Applicant, are you here? Okay. State your name and address for us.
Dennis Meyer, 7324 Buckley Drive.
Okay, what do you want to tell the committee, sir? Anything?
Basically, the structure itself is just a tin-sided building with a tin roof and just for lawnmowers and stuff like that. It's never going to be anything else. I didn't realize I would need even a permit since it's portable. It's not affixed with any electrical. There's no electrical wiring to it. There's no anything. It can be moved anywhere tomorrow if it had to be. So I didn't know, so I'm applying for the approval.
Right. Anyone have any questions for him? All right, thank you. All right, anyone out there want to speak in favor of the CUP? Anyone out there want to speak in opposition of the CUP? No hands up?
Not seeing anyone online, nope.
Okay, all right. I need a motion to come out of public hearing on CUP number 26-012, please.
I'll make a
Mr.
motion to
Evans.
come out of the public hearing.
We have a motion by Mr. Evans and a second by Ms. Wilson to come out of public hearing on CUP number 26-012. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We are now out of public hearing.
Discussion action, Town of Hayward, CUP 26012, owner Dennis and Evelyn Meyer, legal description is previously read into record. Request is for a 14-foot by 24-foot accessory structure across the town road, while keeping in mind for any motions to be made, listing and referencing my staff report as a possible conditions and findings of facts.
Okay, committee, turn it over to you. Mr. Carryon.
I make a motion to approve CUP number 26-012, subject to the conditions for approval previously cited, and findings of fact number 1, which is placement of accessory structures across town road would lessen impervious surface impacts to the water. Secondly, promote the public health, safety, and convenience and general welfare. And 3, encourage planned and orderly land use development.
And I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Cannon with the finding of facts and a second by Mr. Evans to approve CUP number 26-012. Any more discussion? If not, roll call, Kathy, please.
Jim Evans,
Yes.
John Minto, Ron Buckholz.
Yes.
Steve Carryon,
Yes.
Kay Wilson.
Yes.
All in favor, thank you.
It's a public hearing, Town of Coudray, conditional use permit number 26-013, owner Paul Menka. It is tax ID 43843. It is 1.40 total acres owned residential recreational 2. Permit is desired for a 12-foot by 56-foot lean-to onto an existing 32-foot by 54-foot accessory structure divided by a town road, which is Jonans Road. This is as per the Sawyer County Code of Ordinances, Appendix D, Section 4.26, Parent 3. A previous accessory structure was approved by conditional use permit number 21-014, and in conjunction with my staff report, again, the committee previously approved a 32 by 54 pole shed on the back side of the opposite side of the town road from where the primary dwelling is located. The applicant is now seeking to add on to that building in the form of a 12-foot by 54-foot lean-to. Lean-tos, sheds, whether something's portable or movable or temporary, it is still considered a structure, and those structures require other land use permit requirements, as well as in this case, conditional use permit requirement, because when this committee initially approved the original CUP, it was conditioned per the size of that main building. This is now what I would consider as an addition onto that building in the form of a lean-to, so this committee would need to further approve said conditional use permit. As by listed of conditions within the staff report, no habitable area, no commercial use, size of the lean-to not exceed 12 foot by 54 foot, all lighting to be down-faced lighting. Sawyer County land use permit is required for the lean-to if the conditional use permit is approved, and must follow all other town, county, state, and federal laws. By action of the town board, motion was approved unanimously. No additional comments. Signed, Charlie Warner, town clerk. There were There were 7 additional notification letters sent out to adjacent property owners. 1 additional comment was received. That was from the Lakota tribe, and they have no additional, they're okay with it. Objections, thank you.
Sometimes
That is all.
it's hard to spit out. Jay.
Right.
I know what you're doing there. So, all right, I need a motion to go into public hearing on CUP number 26-013, please.
I'll make a
Mr. Evans.
motion to go into public hearing.
I'll second.
And then we have a second by Mr. Kiranen to go into public hearing on CUP number 26-013. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We are now in public hearing on CUP number 26-013. Sir, you're up.
Thank you. Paul Manka, 6674 Jonas Road, Stone Lake, Coudray Reservation, I don't know what do you want to call it?
Any of the above.
There you go. But we're gonna put a 12 by 56 addition onto the pole shed. There's no heat, no power there. It is cold storage. It's just, I ended up buying another boat and ran out of storage, and I needed more storage, so that's what I'm requesting.
Right. Any questions? Not, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, does anyone out there want to speak in favor of this CUP? Anyone want to speak in opposition of this CUP? If not, need a motion to come out of public hearing on CUP 26-013. Please. A
Second.
motion by Ms. Wilson, second by Mr. Kiranen to come out of public hearing on CUP number 26-013. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We are now out of public hearing.
Discussion action, Town of Coudray, CUP 26-013, owner Paul Menka. Legal description is previously read into record. Permit is desired for a 12-foot by 56-foot lean-to onto an existing accessory structure approved by conditional use permit. This would be as an addition to that CUP. This would be as per the Sawyer County Code of Ordinances, Appendix D, Section 4.26, Parent 3, while keeping in mind list of conditions and findings of facts within my staff report.
Okay, committee. What would you like to do?
Motion to approve CUP number 26-013 with conditions for approval as previously listed and findings of fact. Number 2. And what else do I need here?
1.
1, oh, excuse me, I missed 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. We have a second by Mr.
Second.
Kiranen with the finding of facts.
Second by Evans.
And second by Mr. Evans to approve CUP number 26-013. Any more discussion? Not, roll call, Kathy.
Jim Evans,
Yes.
Ron Buckholz.
Yes.
Kay Wilson. Yes. John Minto. Yes. Steve Carriennen.
Yes.
All in favor.
Okay, thank you.
Public hearing, Town of Hayward, CUP 26-014, owner Mark Welsh, agent Michael Kelsey as an attorney. Legal description as tax ID, tax ID 45490. It is 12.09 total acres, zoned residential recreational 1. Permit is desired for a 36 by 56 by 22 foot high accessory building across the town road, which is Linden Road. This is as per the Surrey County Code of Ordinances, Appendix D, Section 4.26, Parent 2. As part of my staff report, the accessory structure cannot be, if that accessory structure cannot be constructed on that parcel containing the principal structure due to an inability to meet setbacks. A 36 by 56 foot accessory structure would be an extremely tight fit on the parcel containing the primary dwelling. There's a decent amount of slope on that lakeside portion and would require an extreme amount of fill material. On lakefront parcels, an exemption can be made of this requirement if the zoning committee determines within their findings of facts that the proposed placement of the accessory structure would lessen the impervious surface impacts. Again, the proposed structure would be an extremely tight fit on the lakeside parcel. However, the proposed location would lessen the impervious surface impacts, as that the proposed new structure would be approximately 400 feet away from the ordinary high water mark of Round Lake. The proposed adjacent parcel is within 66 feet of the principal structure. Yes, it is immediately adjacent across the town road. The proposed structure would meet all other applicable setback provisions. A conditional use permit may be approved by the zoning committee in any district, provided that the town has approved the conditional use permit for the placement of the accessory structure, and that both parcels are legally joined together with a deed restriction. This would be a requirement as listed as part of the conditions, is that a deed restriction or lot binding agreement would be required. We also have language that in a platted subdivision, the maximum size allowed is 1,200 square feet and not to exceed 18 feet in height. The lot containing the primary dwelling is within a platted subdivision. However, the lot adjacent across the town road is not within a platted subdivision. So therefore, I had determined that this provision of exceeding the 1,200 square foot requirement does not apply, because where they are placing the structure is not within a platted subdivision. Again, the applicant is requesting 2,016 square foot accessory structure on the backside of Linden Road. It would be 400 feet away from the water. There are two other accessory structures in this same location, and those were previously approved by a variance. We did have a different process for this back then in the year 2000. So you'll see on the maps that there are two other larger, similar, if not same size accessory structures in this location that were previously approved by variance. Again, as part of the conditions, no habitable area, including beds, bedrooms, or kitchen facilities or plumbing. No commercial use or operation allowed within the structure. Size of the accessory structure not to exceed 2,016 square feet and be less than 22 feet in height. I would probably further make a recommendation or of a condition that it's a single-story accessory structure. I do believe that is the intent, but they are to have a larger door. I believe it's 16-foot sidewalls or 14-foot sidewalls, and that is why we have the 22 feet of height. That a land use permit is required prior to the construction, the conditional use permit goes with the property, and that a lot binding agreement is required. Also, that must follow all other town, county, state, federal laws, including an additional driveway permit from the town of Hayward. The action of the town board, motion was approved unanimously with the conditions that it approves with the following conditions. Those are the exact same ones I just read to you in my staff report, as well as the placement of the accessory structure across the town road would lessen the impervious surface impacts to the shoreline and will promote public health, safety, convenience, and general welfare, and encourage planned and orderly land use development. There were 20 additional notification letters sent out to adjacent property owners. No additional comments were received. I did have a conversation yesterday with the adjacent property owner, Bob Strakota. After explaining to him what the request was for, he verbally stated to me via phone that he had no objections. That is all.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Jay. Need a motion to go into public hearing on CUP number 26-014, please.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Carrieinen and a second by Ms. Wilson to go into public hearing on CUP number 26-014. All in favor to go into public hearing, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We are now in public hearing on CUP number 26-014. Mr. Kelsey, thanks for waiting. They put you on the very bottom.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you for
At the same
hanging
time,
in
it was
there.
entertaining, that's for sure. Correct. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the zoning committee, and members of the zoning staff. As was noted, my name is Mike Kelsey, and I've had the opportunity to represent Mr. Mark Wells and his wife Sarah on a couple of other things regarding real estate. Just to let you know right away, on April 1st of this year, Mark transferred the property from himself as an individual into his, it's actually Sarah, their irrevocable trust. So the property on the lakeside and the property which is the subject of this conditional use permit are titled in the same name. They are totally agreeable also with the tying of those two properties together in the event, which would be a condition, in the event you would grant the request or grant the conditional use permit. One thing for clarification, at the town, when they talked about the height being less than 22 feet, the design of the building, because of the pitch, 412 pitch and the size, comes to 22 feet at that point. They're not going to go over that, but I think Mr. Kozlowski said it had to be less than that, and I just wanted to make the clarification that was clarified at the town board, and they didn't say one way or the other, I guess, go after that. Again, to reiterate, if there's any questions I can answer for you, they were answered mainly by Mr. Kozlowski's staff report, also at the town, both at the planning commission level and the town level. It was unanimous on both. Thank you.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Mr. Kelsey? Go ahead, Ms. Wilson.
So when you tie those properties together, that doesn't make it a part of the subdivision then?
No, so you would still receive two separate tax statements. It's not as a certified survey map to combine
Okay,
them.
okay.
It's a deed restriction. So it's basically a document that we have, which we call a restrictive covenants, which the owner of the property locks into an agreement with Sawyer County zoning that states that they are not allowed to further sell those properties separately until the restriction that we are placing on it is removed. The restriction is that this is an accessory structure on vacant land. And the only way to then remove it would be either A, tear down the accessory structure, which no one's gonna wanna do, or B, you could potentially build another dwelling on that portion. And if you built another dwelling on that portion, we could release the restrictions that you could sell the dwelling and the accessory structure as one lot and sell the main house as another lot. I have no, people generally don't do that. We do see it once in a while. I have no reason to think that the Welsh Trust would end or do something like that, so.
So Mike, are you saying that on number 3, the condition, that it should not say less than 22 feet, it should say up to 22 feet?
I would propose that, or as is noted on the application for a 26 by 56 by 22 foot storage building, whichever one is as far as you felt was appropriate. That's what they're asking for, not something less than 22 feet tall.
So I guess, should it be 22 feet in height or less?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. So. Go ahead.
Yeah, just one quick question for the zoning administrator, Jay. So that, the reason for, obviously you can't have a building on a vacant lot, or a storage building on a vacant lot, so that's why, I'm assuming, coming from the town board, that's why they tied the two properties together?
Yes.
The lakeside and the...
Yeah, you're on the right path there. Ultimately, we do allow for this conditional use permit process to place an accessory structure on vacant land. But that conditional use permit process has, standards in which you meet in order before you can even apply this. One of them being that it's an adjacent lot within 66 feet of where the principal dwelling is located. 66 feet is determined because that is the road right-of-way widths of most of our town roads, if not all of them. So we carved this out as a special process because we were seeing a lot of people that said, well, I got this lake house, I don't have room to build a pole shed, but I own the lot across the road, I want to build a shed over there. That's why we carved out this conditional use permit process. One of the things that we wanted to consider though is that, well, we don't want these to be sold off separately and then you just sell this pole shed to someone else. So we do lock those properties together then. Yep.
Thank you. Okay. Any more? Thank you, Mr. Kelsey. Appreciate it. All right. Anyone out there want to speak in favor of this CUP? Anyone out there want to speak in opposition of the CUP? No hands up, Jay. Okay, all right. Need a motion to come out of public hearing on CUP number 26-014, please. Mr. Evans.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. And Ms. Wilson will second the motion to come out of public hearing on CUP number 26-014. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We are now out of public hearing.
Discussion action, Town of Hayward, CUP 26014, owner Mark Welsh, agent Michael Kelsey. Legal description is previously read into record. Request is for a 36 by 56 foot by 22 feet in height or less, accessory structure across town road, per Sawyer County Code of Ordinances, Appendix D 4.26, Parent 2, keeping in mind staff reports of conditions and findings of fact.
Okay. All right, committee. It's in your lap. Ms. Wilson.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'll make a motion to approve CUP 26-014 with possible conditions listed by J, 2,016 square feet with a height of 22 feet or less. And the findings of fact would be placement of accessory structure across town road would lessen impervious surface, impacts to the water. It would promote the public health, safety, convenience, and general welfare. It would encourage planned and orderly land use development, and it would protect property values and property tax base.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Wilson. Do I have a second?
Second.
And a second by Mr. Evans to approve CUP number 26-014. Any more discussion? If not, roll call, Kathy, please.
Oh, here it is. Ron Buckholz.
Yes.
Kay Wilson. Yes. Jim Evans.
Yes.
John Minto. Steve Carriennen.
Yes.
All in favor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on, this is for a proposed ordinance amendment. This is for a temporary extension of a moratorium on the consideration and or issuance of permits for solar energy systems and battery energy storage systems. Again, this is a public hearing for the proposed temporary moratorium as per WIS Stats 5969 sub 4 sub F and WIS Stats 59.69 sub 4 sub L. This would be for up to an additional 6-month allowance to research, develop, and draft a new Sawyer County Code of Ordinance for regulation of solar energy systems and battery energy systems. To give the committee members that are new a little bit of an update on this, 9 months ago, actually 8.5 months ago, Sawyer County adopted a solar ordinance moratorium in which we were then developing an ordinance for solar energy systems. That moratorium is set to expire next Thursday. At that same time, we have held a public hearing for a proposed new solar ordinance that is also going to the county board next Thursday. In the event that county board does not approve the solar ordinance or wants to remand that decision back to zoning committee for additional research, or there's some underlying issue that we have with adoption of our proposed solar ordinance, we are really wanting this as a fail-safe in that we don't adopt an ordinance and now our moratorium expires and now we have this gap in time, right? So we are, setting this up that if the solar ordinance doesn't pass county board should at least at that point then adopt an extension of the moratorium. So that is what we have here for you today. This is as an official public hearing process because this would then potentially be as a true ordinance for, again, an extension of the moratorium. So you'd want to still open this up for a public hearing, close public hearing, and then make a motion on the proposal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, I need a motion to go into public hearing on proposed ordinance of a temporary moratorium extension on the solar ordinance. And
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by
Second.
Ms. Wilson, second by Mr. Evans to go into a public hearing on the solar moratorium extension. Linda, you want to talk?
Linda Zilmer, resident, a property owner in Edgewater in the southern part of the county and not too far from Edgewater and Sand Lake. Property owners have been scouting and there is a project that is pending, as I understand it, or at least interest. To fill in some gaps between what Jay said, in August of 2025, after a withdrawal of a small-scale solar installation application, the county board enacted a solar ordinance moratorium. And that language provided all the reasons why a moratorium was necessary, and it listed a number of things that the county was going to do in that time in order to effectuate an ordinance. And nothing happened for a number of months, and then a handful of months ago, various different versions of an ordinance came to the zoning committee, and they were in draft form. And kind of like today, at the end of a long and tiring meeting, the zoning committee was asked to take a look at it. Well, they were basically all works in process until version 3.1 came up. So when version 3.1 came up, the one that is going to be considered by the full county board, zoning committee was pretty tired, and the chairman announced that there would be no public input allowed before it would be going to the towns and to public hearing. Supervisor Wilson came up with a number of good points that she had questions and concerns on regarding version 3.1, and I believe most of that was probably incorporated into the further revision. So it was not until March 26th that a draft of version 3.1 went out to the towns. Now, for town of Hayward, for instance, they met on April 1st. So I don't know how towns with their plan commissions and their town boards had sufficient time to look at this. I tend to take this very seriously, and I spent a lot of time on previous versions looking at questions and concerns I had. And yet the public is not given that opportunity to address it before it gets too far in the process. So with version 3.1, it wasn't until the public hearing, and you only get 3 minutes to address what all the concerns are. At that point, you as a zoning committee, you just want to pass this on to the county board and be done with it. I have sent now to the zoning committee, and I will send to the full county board a whole list of issues I have with version 3.1, and I think it is not consistent with the what the state restricts the county to, with regard to especially the large-scale ones, the utility-scale ones. I think going forward with the additional 6 months, the original list of duties or responsibilities that the county was going to have to work with the towns, work with getting information out about solar ordinances, that should be done, and work with the towns to come up with a final ordinance. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Linda. Anyone else want to speak? Nobody online.
Anyone online wishing to have public comment for the proposed moratorium extension? Seeing none.
All right. I need a motion to come out of that public hearing for this temporary moratorium extension.
So moved.
We have a
Second.
motion by Ms. Wills, second by Mr. Evans to come out of public hearing. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. We are now out of public hearing.
Discussion action on the proposed temporary moratorium extension. This would be for an additional 6 months.
G?
Rebecca has her hand raised.
Oh, go ahead, Rebecca.
Thank you, sir. This is a very unique situation because of the close timing. Jay's correct that the first moratorium is indeed in the legal form of an ordinance. And so that ordinance set forth the steps to be taken in that initial 9-month period. And those were taken, and they're also described in the resolution in front of you, which is important because, again, what's in front of you right now is the extension of the moratorium. So I just wanted to point out, this is a very unique procedural matter. So if you have any questions about the resolution in front of you and how it interplays with the underlying solar ordinance itself, please ask. But they are two separate legal matters. And what you are considering right now is the moratorium and extending that moratorium, effectively amending that prior moratorium ordinance for another 6 months. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
All right. I'm not sure, but I don't believe all the new committee members had a chance to look at the ordinance for the moratorium and stuff. Mr. Evans, just what's in front of you?
Yeah, so I mean, this is again, just the moratorium, and a moratorium is basically a pause on that specific type of development. There is a proposed solar energy system ordinance, which again would set to replace the moratorium, and that is the framework of someone that, a developer or company that would want to do a solar facility in Sawyer County. That was emailed out to you a couple weeks ago. It is out on the website. If you do need that, again, I can certainly send it back out. But that would be set to go to county board on Thursday, so.
So what we're approving here is to extend the moratorium. Okay.
I'll make a motion to extend the moratorium.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Evans. Do we have a second? A second by Mr. Minto to approve extending the moratorium for the solar. Any more discussion? Okay, not? Kathy, I'll just do a voice, okay? All in favor, say aye. 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 All opposed, motion carries to extend.
And I should note that I do believe the county board agenda is out on the website right now.
It is.
If you, and as part of that agenda, that ordinance is on there. It's in PDF form. If anyone wants a Word version of it, I guess email me and I'll send you the Word version. Otherwise, the ordinance for the proposed facility energy system ordinance is out there and is available online. New business, I have two quick ones and I'll let you guys go. One is I've been requested by the town of Round Lake to look at substandard size zone districts within their town. They've identified several areas where they have these existing agricultural parcels of land and they are less than 5 acre minimums. And the town is concerned with some of those, be it in forestry or be it in agricultural. And they want to further discuss how they can potentially either rezone those or just have additional discussion with that. I would like this committee to allow Supervisor Wilson as an extension of the committee to participate in those discussions with the town of Round Lake. I don't know if I need a motion.
No, I don't think you do.
But I just want to have that discussion out in the open so that no one is surprised on something that may come back to the committee that this discussion had occurred.
Is that what Ginny was talking about? Or is that
Not
something
at the
different?
start, that's my next one.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
so-
Jay.
So are you comfortable with doing that, Supervisor Wilson? Wonderful. I will send out an email to that group, and we'll have that additional discussion.
Not only to the town board, but the plan commission.
Correct. Yep. And specifically, you'd be wearing a hat of zoning committee at that, so perfect.
Yeah, you'd be the chair, vice chair, and the whole committee.
Well, and I'm not looking at doing this as a formal ad hoc. This is going to be discussions between one zoning committee member and, a potential, 2 members of a planning committee. If the planning committee has to, I guess, publish that there may be a quorum of their planning committee, I'll leave that on the town, but otherwise, I think a couple, quick discussion items, we can hash out a plan. The one that Ginny was talking about at the beginning is on a certified survey map process. So this was, so this was one where, as part of an MLS listing, we were notified that an existing garage, which was permitted as an existing garage on the property, contained a large amount of habitable living area. When we have those types of scenarios, one of the first things we look at is, well, could you end up splitting the lot, getting a change of use from a garage to a primary structure, which needs an additional land use permit from our office, also requires uniform dwelling code inspections to make sure that it's deemed for habitation. But if you can split that off as its own separate lot, we kind of say, okay, good, now we don't have two dwellings on one lot. We were able to split this, now one dwelling's on one lot, one dwelling's on another lot. So that was the quick initial solve process of this one, but then comes back to the crux of, are you truly operating as a resort if you're renting multiple units, but be it that those units are on their own separate lots? And I think that's one of the bigger discussion items we still potentially need to go through. What I would propose, at least this time, is that when I see this CSM come to my desk, I have 90 days in which to approve a CSM. And I would hold off on approving the CSM. And the reason why is in June, for your zoning committee meeting, you are hearing a request for 2 units on one lot that are proposing to operate as a resort. And I think after we get through that discussion item, we can potentially look at this one and saying, you know what, there's actually a better route in which you should go. And that would be requesting of a conditional use permit to operate a resort, and now you don't even need to split the lots. But if the committee determines that you can't have 2 dwellings on one lot and quote unquote operate a resort, I don't know what other way to not approve the CSM from Birch Point, so.
The third lot, though, would still be split. There are 3 lots, right?
Right, yep.
And they'd still want to split that one.
That one's already split.
It is already done.
Yep. So there's, right now, there's 2
They
lots.
just want to split those 2.
Yeah. Yeah, right now there's 2 lots that technically contain 3 dwellings. And the proposal that you're looking at as the survey is splitting off that non-compliant, illegally created habitable garage to its own separate 3rd lot. But again, the crux then is, well, if you're renting all of these, even though they're on separate lots, are you really a resort? And should you get a conditional use permit to operate that as a resort? And our ordinances really don't have.
Our ordinance doesn't have that scenario where they're on separate lots.
Right. Because right now,
They have to be on the
it's
same lot.
to be a resort,
Right.
right? So there again, you kind of butt heads. Is this truly a resort? I mean, it's certainly looking and operating as a resort, but they're on separate individual lots. So again, we'll have this additional discussion in June. What I would end up doing with this certified survey map when it hits my desk is I would hold it until we have this additional discussion next month, so.
Yeah. Okay, all
And
right,
I can let Ginny know that as well. I think she took off here for today, but
Yeah. all right.
we'll know more from there. That's all I got.
All right, thank you, everybody, and I just, a quick thing for the new, committee members. You now have your county iPads, all your emails from anything from the county will go to them, and you'll be able to respond to anybody you need to. And, Jay said that the next June meeting is gonna be a long one. And Mr. Longtime will be filling in for Mr. Carrieinen, because he's getting out of the country, so. All right, thank you, everybody, we are adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.